Hey guys, okay, this is the first page I have for y'all in the notes. And this is over the third and fourth gave y'all. So basically the first one, I just want to go over what the slope intercept formula. So is your y-intercept. Your y-intercept is where your x value is 0. Okay. This is just a little note right here saying that your rise over run is also your slope, so that's also equal to m. Okay, now for the third part of the notes, Miss G just went over using 2 points to find your slope, and I just have some of those here, so I'll go over each one. But you're gonna use y2 over y1, or y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So basically, whenever I get to these, I just go and write down or label each one. So like I'll label this one x1, y1, x2, y2. And you can even do like x2, y2, and x1, y1. But it just makes more sense to me to go in chronological order. So, okay, so we're using this. So you find your y2, which is 0. So you go 0 and then minus, and then you find your y1, which is -3, over your x2 is 1 minus your x1, which is 7. So you have 0 minus -3, which is a +3. And then 1 minus 7 is -6. So then you end up getting -1/2 as your slope. And basically, like with this, you can check this in your calculator. Like plug this part in and make sure you get 3. Put this in and make sure you get -6. You know, just make sure you check it in your calculator just in case you accidentally made a little error. So I'm just gonna keep doing that now. So x1, y1, x2, y2. So then you're gonna have 2 minus 8 over -3 minus 4, which gives you -6 over -7, which your slope will now be 6 over 7. So with that being your slope, it's going to be your m. So if you had y equals mx plus b, it'd be y equals, let me go back up here. It'll end up being y equals -1/2 x, and then you'll find your b. Okay, so we have x1, y1, x2, y2. So we get 6 minus, so that's -12 and 2. So then you always want to simplify your answer, like how I did with this one up here. Okay, so then that'll be 2's, and you'll get -1/6. So we just keep doing that same process. Remember, just always remember this is what you're doing. So -1 minus 5 and -1 minus 0. So that's -6 over -1, so it will be 6. -5 minus 2 and 15 minus 2, which is 13 and -7. So your slope would end up being -7 over 13. Label it again. You have 8 minus -11 and 8 minus 10. So you have 8 plus 11, because that, if it's like these, it'll end up just being a plus sign. But like I said, just plug it into your calculator to make sure. Then -2. So your slope will be -19 over 2. X2, Y2. So 5 minus -7 over 8 minus 6. So I end up getting 12 over 2, which will come out to a positive 6 as your slope. And this is just a fine slope. So for this one, you could end up writing your whole y-intercept, so y equals mx plus b. So you want to find your slope, how we've been doing. So you'll do x1, y1, x2, y2. So it'll be -2 minus 0 over 0 minus 4. So that'll be -2 and -4, which is going to come out to a positive 1/2. Well, it already gave, in the b is your y-intercept. It already gives you your y-intercept right here. So you go ahead and do your whole equation. So y equals half x minus 2. That would be your whole thing. Now, if I wanted to show you how to do it, let's go with we'll do this one up here. So I'm going to erase this just so I can have a little bit more room. So if we wanted to find y equals mx plus b, you're going to find your m like we did earlier. So 2 minus 8 over -3 minus 4. So you'll get 6. You'll get -6 over -7, which is positive 6 over 7. Now, to find this, to find your b, you want to plug in an x and a y, because you want to get b by itself. Well, it gives you an x and a y right here, so we'll do the 4 over 8. It gives you an x and a y, so 4, 8. So it gives you that x and that y. Now just plug those in. So plug your 8 in for your y, whatever your m was, so 6 over 7, and then your x, which is 4, and then plus b, and solve for b. So 6 divided by 7 times 4 is 24 over 7. So 8 equals 24 over 7 plus b. Now you want to get b by itself, so you're going to minus 24 over 7 from 8. So your b is going to equal 8 minus 24 over 7. So your b is going to equal 32 over 7. So if you were to write out the whole equation, it would be y equals your m, 6 over 7, x, and then what you found for your b. So plus 32 over 7. And that would be your equation. Okay. Now these, you're finding the slope from the graph, or you could do the whole formula. Either most of these gives you your y-intercept, or I think they all do, so there's really no reason not to do the whole formula. So you're going to find your y-intercept formula, which is y equals mx plus b. Okay, so first find your slope. So to find your slope, you're going to find 2 points. I usually, and it gives you points here. I usually go with my y-intercept and this point. And you're going to do rise over run. So this is your rise, this is your run. So how many spaces does it take you to get from each point? So I usually just draw this little box to make it into like this triangle. And then you count the rise, which is 2. And your run is 1. So if you simplify that, it's 2, and that's going to be your m. So that's your slope. Now, it already gives you your b, which is your y-intercept, which is this one right here, which is 5. Okay, so now now that you have your m and your b, you just have to plug it in. But you need to make sure that to see if you have a positive or a negative graph. So this is a negative graph, because it goes from negative infinity to positive infinity. I think it goes like this. If it goes like this, it's negative. If it goes like this, it's positive. I usually look at it like if it's inclining or declining. Like if you're walking up the stairs, you're going up. If you're walking down the stairs, you're going down. If it's down, it's negative. If it's up, it's positive. So it's a negative graph, so you're going to have a negative sign. So it's going to be y equals negative 2x. Your slope will be what's negative if it's a negative graph. Okay, and then you have plus 5 because this is a positive 5 up here. So then that will be your equation. So here, this is a positive graph. Okay, now you need to find 2 points. So I'm going to use this one and this one. And just connect the 2. So your rise, it's counting by 2s, so your rise here is 4. That's my rise over my run, and then my run is 2. So make sure you know what it's counting by. So then my slope is going to be 2, which is my m, and my b is 4. So to write out y equals mx plus b, just plug in what you know. So y equals, your m's 2, you keep the x, and then add 4. And that will be your answer. Okay, so first thing we need to do is this is a negative graph. Okay, and we're going to go from that point to this point. Now you need to find your slope, which is your rise over run. So it's counting by 1, so 1, 2, rise is 2, 1, 2, 3, and your run's 3. So your slope is 2 over 3, and your y-intercept is 5. So your b equals 5. So by equals negative 2 over 3 x plus 5. Okay, this one is a positive graph. So we're going to find our slope, which is our rise over run. So here, and we'll go, that's on 30. So we'll go here and here. You could also do this point right here, or you do this point. It's basically the same. So So I'm just going to go ahead and do the points it has highlighted for us. So it's counted by 2, so it's 2, 4, 6. So your odds is 6. And then it tells you that the next point's at -3. Or just, you can go ahead and just put 3 because you already know that your graph's going to be positive. So just keep it at 3. And then simplify that. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. So there's that. It's going to be 2. So that's your M. Then your B is 6. So Y equals 2x plus 6. Now for this next one, do the same thing. It's a positive graph. Do rise over run. So let's do these 2 points right here. So it's going up from 3 to 5, which is 2, and to 1. So your rise is 2, your run's 1, so it's going to be 2. So that's your slope. And then your B is 3. So Y equals 2x plus 3. Okay, same thing. Positive graph. Rise over run. So find you 2 points you want to use. Okay, it's it's going up by 1, so that's your rise is 1 and your run is 2. And it's positive, so your slope is going to be half. And then your B, your y-intercept, which is where it intersects on this line, it's right here, so that's 2. So it's y equals half x plus 2. Okay, 2 more. So this is negative. This is a negative graph because it goes like this. Okay, gives you your 2 points. Okay, so you're going to find your rise and your run. So my rise is 3 and my run's 2. So my slope is going to be -3 over 2. And my y-intercept is 3, so my B is 3. So that's y equals -3 over 2x plus 3. Okay, now this one. This is a positive line. So you're going to find your rise over run. So here's your points. 1, 2, 3, and 1. So it's 3 over 1, which simplifies down to 3. And then if you're never sure about simplifying, you can just simply put this in the calculator and see if it gives you a whole number. If it doesn't, like this one's not going to give you a clean cut, just like 3. It's going to give you a decimal, so you just keep it like this. So then we get 3, and then our B is all the way down here at -5. So it's y equals 3x minus 5. And that's it for this one.